Agents?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, open forum. Do we have somebody that wants to say something? Cliff, take a chair and a table with you.
Thank you. My name is Cliff Johnson, and I'm here representing the Cold Spring Area Historical Society, and just want to invite the council and the community to our annual meeting, which is October 26th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. And at it, we'll be having a short meeting, but we'll be making awards, individual and company organization award for Historian of the Year. We'll have dinner, which is Cordon Bleu and at the American Legion, and they've done well by us in the past for serving nice food. The program celebrating their 25th year and actually the 10th year for the Historical Society, we're going to have the Great Northern Theater Company present some of their history and do a few little vignettes. You don't have to be a member of the society to come. You do get a little discount for dinner if you are a member. Contact myself, Rita Hennon, or Dan Stile, and we'll get you signed up for the dinner. And everybody is welcome, as I said.
So this is October 26th. At what time and where?
6 o'clock at the American Legion. Dinner, well, proceedings will start at 6:30. We'll have a little registration, social time from 6 to 6:30, and then things get rolling. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Does anybody have any questions?
No, thank you for the invite.
Thank you, Cliff.
Once again, thank you very much for having this open forum time on the agenda. More people should take advantage of it, I think. But
All right, thank you.
All right. Anybody else wants to say anything? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? All right. Next thing is to approve that the agenda. Everybody has looked at the agenda. Anything that we need to put in, take out, add, subtract, or... Okay, then I guess we're looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
And I'll second.
Jan, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Consent agenda. Minutes of September 27, 2016, to approve the minutes of the September 27, 2016 City Council meeting as presented. And questions, and you looked that over, is it okay?
I'll make that motion, yes.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Jan. And Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Number 5, requests to place a monument sign on the right-of-way median on 14th Avenue South for River Links PUD. Dr. Joe Wenner.
Thank you. I think you all have copies of the
Yep.
sign.
We do. Thank you.
The first step is getting permission from the council, then we have to apply for a permit and then put it up.
The only question I had is the highway to MnDOT setbacks. Do we know what that is?
I think if we're in the city right away, we'd be off the highway right away. So I think we are in the city right away.
I believe we are,
Okay.
okay, and we will verify that.
Okay, that was the only question I had, was what, if MnDOT had any,
I think that light pole is outside the,
That's right. There's a light pole
Where
to the
the-
north.
where the right of way is for MnDOT,
okay.
but I will verify that when it's time to.
And where is the sign going from that then?
And the light pole
From the light pole?
would be south of the light pole, between the light pole.
And
And that
this?
box.
Right in here?
Yes.
In
Okay,
here.
okay.
There should be enough room.
Did this have to go through planning? No?
The sign,
Sign's not just applying for it. This is what be applying for a sign.
Yep.
he's applying, our ordinance says that anything in the right of way has to get council approval,
Okay.
not any other. And we did look at the size of it, because of its unique shape.
Yeah.
The PUD agreement with the city talks about monument signs, not just one. If you take a look, this front side, the gray part, we don't count this when we do a monument, the stand. This is 38.56, and so it's the same sign on the other side, but our ordinance doesn't talk about signs that aren't perfectly flush to each other.
Oh.
It's one side and one side, and we don't measure, we don't have a way to, it doesn't say how to measure signs that are
Unusual.
Yeah,
Unusual.
this is the back
That's
side of
back
this.
That's the back.
Yep.
And
To
it's
the
the
right.
same
That's
image
the
on the
back.
other side.
That's
so-
the reverse of this, yeah.
Exactly, yep.
And so this does fit in our ordinance, and on that side, it fits on our ordinance, under the size, but then what it,
Yeah, that's a unique,
yeah, it's a unique, beautiful sign, but we did measure it out and have
Right.
each side face, which they're allowed to have a monument that has 40 square feet per side.
Any more discussion? Okay, recommendation is to approve the placement of the monument sign on the right of way at Meeta, 14th Avenue for the River Links PUD. I guess I'm gonna look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Jan,
One second.
Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
All right,
Thank you,
beautiful sign.
thank you.
Okay, Public Works Director report, John Stevie.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The only request I have for you tonight is the purchase of the salt for the winter. We're gonna purchase 5 loads of salt. We budgeted $10,000 for that, and that's roughly what it comes to. Out of line item 6315. So if I can get permission to purchase that.
We're gonna have to look for a motion, huh? Is that what we gotta do on this one?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
And then just some updates,
All in, wait, all in, hold it, John, for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Okay, John, now let's go.
the ground storage tank, they started maintenance on that today. They worked on the outside yesterday, and we got it drained down this morning. We set up pressure relief valves around town, kind of down by the Teals area. We're trying to hold it at about 65 PSI. Up on the hill by the tank, we're just barely getting about 30, a little over 30, so the pressure is a little lower up by the tank. We talked to a bunch of residents up there today and let them know. Put it on the Facebook page, let people know. It's probably gonna be like this for 7 to 10 business days. They don't work on weekends, but bear with us. This is a project that only happens every probably 20 plus years, so there was some leaks in the seam, so it definitely needed the repairs.
We need that all to work.
What's that?
We need all that machinery over there to work, John.
Do
Thank
you
you.
wanna just make a mention about which neighborhoods might be affected by the low pressure?
The biggest one that's affected by the low pressure is right up by the ground storage tank. So all the houses on the west side of 14th, they're the main ones. The other ones have fairly good pressure. During high water times, the pressure's lower around town because of that. But during the day, we'll turn on more pumps to maintain the pressure a little better. But as of right now, all the water system is running off of the well pumps and our pressure relief valves, so there's no capacity backed up with booster pumps. Paving up by True Balance, the new business up in the business park, there was a cul-de-sac that was there, and they bought the end lot and they put their building there, and they wanted, that cul-de-sac was probably 16 feet or so into their property line, and they wanted that out of there, and we wanted to continue our curb and gutter then to the north and act like it was, a continuing road. We ran into a little bit of complications with the elevation. The cul-de-sac was kind of rounded off, per se, so that the water kind of ran to the outsides. Well, you couldn't just do a mill and then a curb because the height was wrong. So Kramer's had to do some, what would you call it, reconstruction of the ground there to get the heights right. before we could put curb down, and that caused us to have to cut more tar out. So it got a little more expensive than what we originally had planned, but still should be below $5,000. And then they'll have an actual approach to their business, and it'll look nice. And all the stormwater will run to the gutter that's right there, the drain. Update on the Memorial Garden. It's taken a little longer than expected because people have been coming forward and offering to contribute to it. We're working on, originally we had, intended on doing one flagpole, new flagpole. We might be getting 2 brand new flagpoles for there because of people that are coming forward. And once that's finalized, we'll mention their names and give them the recognition that they deserve. But for now, that's kind of what's taking the process. So. And then a Casal 2 update, finishing up streetscaping, lighting, and the temporary detour is running on First Street South now. They got the intersection by Main done, and I was wrong earlier. I'll put some signs up because Friday, the 14th, is the opening date of the road. And so we're going to continue the detour on First Street South until Friday, I guess. So it's been a long summer, and it's coming to an end. So
Yeah.
A lot of people asking, when is it gonna open?
And do we have to stop when all them stop signs are gone?
absolutely. Well, now when they're gone, no. But now you do.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful going through there because some people don't realize they're there.
Everybody's going to stop.
Yeah.
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 Well, they're big enough.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Brian?
Mr. Mayor and Council. John pretty well covered County Road 2 update, opening Friday. So there will be other work taking place along the shoulders periodically. So still have to try and be aware of construction personnel and vehicles, but it should be to a minimum. Electrical revision updates. In your packet was a change order for Faber Electric looking at the antique shop building that's owned by the co-op. There was some internal wiring that was an issue there. If we'd have hooked the service up, the electrical inspector would not allow us to turn the building back on because of how some things were wired inside. Throughout the process of this electrical relocation, we've talked about, it's the city that's driving these changes, so that we were the ones absorbing the cost for these business and property owners. This is a situation where our change made the inspector look at it and say, I won't allow you to continue unless we fix it. So we have a change order for the fix.
Is that gonna be able to be happen pretty quickly?
I think as soon as we get the approval, he can, I'm guessing it'd be a day or so of work in there.
Yeah, it's probably less than that even.
It's just a matter of we need to give him the okay if we're paying for it.
That's that total for 2,800 that I see in front of me. Is that it?
Yes,
Yes.
2,800.
Okay. Discussion, because I guess we're gonna need a discussion, council? Okay, otherwise, I'm gonna read the recommendation to approve the change order for Faber Electric to correct electrical issues in the Opera House owned by Cold Spring Co-op, so as to allow the Main Street Electric relocation project to pass inspection. I am looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Dave, second. Jan, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it.
Any other questions on County Road 2?
Nope, it'll be nice to see it open. See how that traffic flow actually goes.
Yeah.
It started with a rain and it's gonna end with a rain.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll see on Friday into Monday how the traffic, I think it'll go well. There might be a day or two of adjustment, as there always is when we do a traffic switch, but people will fall into a new routine pretty quick.
It'll work out. It'll work out.
Otherwise, I'll skip ahead to C. We'll just do a quick update on the Southwest Stormwater Infiltration Project. We're expected to start work on that this week, so yeah, pre-con 2 weeks ago and moving forward. Letters were sent to the property owners, as well as those who were getting one of the tree boxes.
Okay.
Otherwise, Included in your packet as well was the revised feasibility report for Main Street. We talked at length last meeting about what was in the report, some of the ideas of how we were gonna approach the Main Street project. And then the council's desire was to also include Second Avenue South, so basically from Main Street to First Street South, the block just east of Winters. So we went back, we revised the report. I do have, if you don't have a copy, I do have a couple extras.
This is what we're looking at, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, it just added one more street to it, changed the overall cost about 300,000. One of the things we also included in there was some contingency for electric relocation. There are some communication and electric lines in there. It's not really gonna be a lot, but we will probably have to do some modifications. Probably the biggest change in there is narrowing the street from, I think right now it's at around 52 feet. Got it in here too. 52 feet down to 44. So the 50, right now it's wide because there's angled parking on one side. And we had talked, I think, a little about getting rid of that angled parking, going down to straight parallel parking. So the 44 feet gives you, in combination, you could have, two 12-foot driving lanes, two 10-foot parking lanes,
We're
11,
gonna
11.
Take some of those driveways out then, right? Or
Yeah, the
they're
idea
all
would-
gonna stay at?
Especially on the east side, we'd get rid of all those driveways,
Okay.
because I think those were for the houses that I'm guessing were for the houses that
Yeah.
used to be there. We'll put it straight through, and then when that develops, at that point, we'll just have to cut into it and cut a driveway in. At this point, it's just too hard to know what's gonna happen there. We'll also work with,
Doesn't
winter-
the west side have a lot of them too?
it's got a lot of big ones, so we'll work with the property owners along there are Winters, Cold Spring Lanes, and the Granite Company, so we'll work with them to figure out
Oh,
how we reconfigure that, and that's also another area that's prime for redevelopment. So we'll talk to them of what they need now, and then in the future, that could change.
west side's gonna have sidewalks?
Both sides will have sidewalks and a boulevard. And that's also what narrowing the road up helps us with, is it gives us room to actually put the sidewalk and the boulevard. And then in the future, if it develops into more of a, say for example, more of a downtown type of business where the building is tight on the right of way, because that was one of the ideas in Granite Landing, was that some of those buildings would be built like that. Then they could take and tear the sidewalk out and do full concrete, or put their more decorative streetscaping, whatever. What we had proposed at this time was the light poles and trees opposite the light poles, just to give it a little bit of something, but not overdo it on the streetscaping. Also replacing the utilities in there, that was one of the big driving factors as well. There's undersized clay sewer, and there's a 4-inch cast iron water main, which is grossly undersized and prime for breaks in the middle of winter.
And that project should be done by next year at this time.
Next year at this time, we should be done.
We should be done. Council, I guess they're looking for a recommendation. Anything discussion?
Did we talk to Winters or the Lanes or anything? I know the last time we talked about the affected owners on Second, what their thoughts were. Do you know if we've talked to them at all? Okay. Have you talked
I
to
don't
them at all?
think we didn't know the numbers until now.
We didn't, yeah, and the numbers are in there. There's two, so in the map in the back that was included with it, there's numbers for the properties that are
Yeah.
assessed, and then they correspond with the assessment roll in the report. And what we did is, and normally we wouldn't separate out, for example, Cold Spring Granite Company on the east side and the Skolls on the west. We wouldn't have separated them into two separate assessments, but for this case we did, so that you can see what the Main Street assessment would be and what the Second Avenue assessment would be. So, for example, for Winters, it's 15 and 15E. For the Granite Company, it's 14 and 14W. So they are divided out separately so that we can get an idea of what Second Avenue added for those particular property owners. Because according to our policy, commercial property gets assessed on both sides.
Gets assessed. Otherwise, normally it is they get assessed on the longest side on residential, right?
Resident, yeah, single and two-family residential has an entirely different,
Okay, so that
Look
doesn't
at it.
apply to the commercial district. All right.
anything other than single family gets assessed on all sides.
So in looking at the feasibility study now, that includes that piece of it. Should we get down to the point to move forward and we decide not to do that? Is that an issue because the feasibility study now includes it, or because they're separate?
I don't think it does. I think we should be able to, I think the next step here would be we would set a date for the improvement hearing. At the improvement hearing, it's often called the preliminary assessment hearing. We look at it's public hearing, we look at these. And I think if the council decides at that point that they don't wanna do second, and they authorize us to go ahead and prepare plans and specs and start designing the project, you can be specific as to just Main Street or Main and Second.
Okay.
So we can still back.
As far as I know, I think we can back out of that, but at this point, this is what's
This is a preliminary, this is just.
preliminary, yeah.
And I do think that because Second does need to be done, and if that one street, that would be the only street not improved in that whole block.
I just think it makes sense to do it.
And we're gonna be better pricing because it's part of a bigger project,
Exactly.
but
We did run into that with the little connection. It was fairly expensive because it was
by
200 feet of
itself,
road.
yeah.
Are we going to hear then some from the north side then? Are we going to hear something from that since we did the south side? Because we do have some people down in there that would like to have that repaired too, you know.
I think it makes more sense to do the north side all as one.
Leave that as a one project?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be like third, second, kinda do that
The
whole.
only reason why we would tie into this second is just because it makes so much sense. It's only not even a full block, 3/4 of a block that's left there,
Sure.
you know.
And I think in the next couple of years, we're gonna have to start looking at that little quadrant, between Red River and Main to the east as well as to the west, both on the north side of Main. And a person can also we don't have to do just one street, we can have one big capital improvement project if there's 3 or 4 streets and they don't even have to be touching, they can be in different parts. And we could say, well, these are our priorities this year, and it might be 3 separate streets, but we can combine those into one project if we wanted.
Because the business atmosphere would turn that way for the loop anyway. That's going to be part of the business if it's repaired by winners, so. Because most of the cars are going to go that way anyway, or come from that way, second south on.
Yeah.
So we would, we'd be all right then to leave that as another project someday.
I think so, yes.
All right.
And I do think that northeast corner there is, one of the next projects moving forward, looking
Sure.
at the future. You got over there and then also over by Fifth Avenue, kind of where the detour's going now, is pretty beat up, so.
I know you talked about, and that's getting off of this feasibility report, but Fifth Avenue, whether the county is gonna, you talked about possibly having them repave that?
We haven't really been in discussion too much about it.
Okay.
That'll probably we can bring it up this Thursday at the construction meeting. But it's definitely, there's no way they can't.
Yeah,
say
I know,
pick it
it's,
up, so.
yeah, it's getting beat up, and I was just kinda curious if you guys talked to them at all
Yeah.
about it.
No, we'll do that this Thursday at the construction meeting, and maybe it's something they could include in when they tear that little half circle out of there, that detour, so.
Yeah.
So you're saying, Brian, the Main Street project is going to be how much then?
If we're
The
looking,
final dollar?
if we're looking at Main and Second,
Yes.
we're looking at final dollars of 2.15.
$1,000,005. Okay,
It's about 300,000 more than what the other project was.
all right. Well, council?
Well,
Well,
I think that we should,
then we're gonna, the recommendation
Yeah.
is to adopt resolution 2016-42, accepting the feasibility report and calling for an improvement hearing for Main Street reconstruction project. I guess we're gonna look for a motion?
I'll make a
Are you
motion.
doing- I'm sorry, can you,
Oh.
are you doing, I forgot to add in there because I didn't know which dollar amount you were gonna do.
Oh.
So we should say
That's
with second or without.
with,
Thank you.
So, that's at two,
That's at
145?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
to print them both.
okay, 145, 595, and 9 cents. All right.
I'll
Dave,
make that motion.
okay. Jan,
and I will second that.
all right. And Fran's going to okay it too, so we have all ayes. All in favor, yeah, I should say aye. Aye. Okay. All I have. That's it.
And that will, we know the date of that hearing?
November 15th,
Okay.
and all four, well, the new council member will be sworn in right beforehand. So it'll be a 4/5 then, instead of a 4-0 vote.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum of four.
Right.
Max- Yeah, minimum 4-0,
Yeah,
4-1, and,
so we'll,
Super.
appoint someone at the beginning of that meeting and.
correct,
Okay.
that's my plan. Put on the agenda unless you want it some other way.
Nope, that works.
Works for me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. We are after the chief of police, acting chief, please, is Jason Bloom.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
Just to go through activity report for the months of May and June. In the city of Cold Spring, there were 493 total incidents for the month. It's up from 408 in 2015. In that, there were 16 medical emergencies. And there's also, we're going to be recognizing 2 officers in the Cold Spring Fire Department for a life-saving award in those medicals. Just trying to find time with the gentleman to see if he wants to come down and do it, have a presentation, do it himself, that kind of thing. Also, 20 suspicious people or vehicles were found, 1 open door, 298 total traffic stops, which included 303 warnings and 104 citations. There were 142 miscellaneous calls with police-related incidents. In the traffic stops, there were 17 drug violations, 7 alcohol violations, which also included 2 DWIs. We had 1 canine assist in the city, and also we dealt with 6 alcohol-related incidents, which is kind of the people outside the bars that can open containers, intoxicated people. In May of 2016, in the city of Richmond, there were 133 total incidents. That's up from 97 last year. That included 9 medical emergencies, 11 suspicious people or vehicles, 79 traffic stops with 81 warnings and 13 citations. There were then 34 other calls related to police incidents in Richmond. And then also in there were 2 drug violations in the traffic stops. For the month of June, in the city of Cold Spring, there were 370 total incidents, which was up from 244 the year before. There were 17 medical emergencies, 12 suspicious people, 173 traffic stops, which included 192 warnings and 39 citations. There were 168 total calls for other police-related matters. In those traffic stops, there were 6 drug violations and 13 alcohol violations, which included 2 DWIs, 1 canine assist, and then again 6 alcohol-related incidents in town. In the city of Richmond, there was 101 total incidents, which was up from 66 last year. 8 medicals, 6 suspicious people or vehicles, 52 traffic stops, which included 51 warnings and 9 citations, 32 miscellaneous police-related calls over there. Of the suspicious vehicles, there were 2 citations issued for the drug violations. And then just some of the other things that happened around town. Officers spoke to a group of students at Lions Park. We did 2 canine demonstrations for Sartell Elementary School. So, and also if anybody wants canines demonstration set up, we can just contact the police department. And then an update with the part-timers that you guys approved over the summer. Brady is completed his training process. He's now working shifts, filling shifts on his own. Dustin is still, it took us a little longer to get him for a psych evaluation just because of their availability. So he's still in the process of going through his training and everything, so, but everything's going well. We also had an officer do a presentation for various frauds and scams in the area. If anybody would want to set that up with the police department, you can definitely contact us. It's just the ones that, those phone calls or the letters that you get in the mail, just the local ones that we're hearing about. If anybody's interested in those, we can set those up. And then also we had officers attend River Lakes Days meetings throughout the month. And that's all I have, unless you guys have questions for me.
Wow. Nothing like burning through it.
Yeah.
I can slow down, I can do it again with a little more give and take.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to all of it. You wanna do this over?
Well, thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda is number 9, the city administrator report.
That would be me, but I
Yeah.
somehow lost my agenda. With my second half, there we go, thank you, now I know what order I'm in. First on there is a donation, from the Cold Spring Area Community Foundation. The day after the last city council meeting, they presented a check to be used towards the Main Street improvement for next year. And under Minnesota statute, we have to do a resolution accepting a gift. So as John said, I'll probably be coming back with some more of those for gifts on the garden. So I need someone to make a motion under my recommendation
Sure.
for accepting that $10,000.
Donations for Main Street Improvement Project Resolution 2016-45, a recommendation to approve Resolution 2016-45, accepting a donation from the Cold Spring Area Community Foundation of $10,000 for use on the Main Street project. I am looking, or discussion? None? All right, all in favor? Oh, well, wait.
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion, Dan, thank you.
I'll second that.
All right, Dave. Now, all in favor? Aye. The ayes have it.
That's
What do you
an
think?
awesome,
Okay.
Isn't that great?
that's an
Yeah,
awesome
it was-
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very welcome that morning.
yeah, that is.
Next on the agenda, we have someone on FMLA, and it's gonna be longer than 3 weeks, and under policy, all leave of any kind over 3 weeks is, requires city council approval. And so I have actually 2 things to recommend there, because as I was trying to figure out, which part of the policy applied for FMLA and regular leaves of absence, it was confusing to me, so Sue and I kind of walked through it, and she has a recommendation of making it a little clearer. FMLA, the minute you start, you're federally up to 12 weeks, and so to her, it didn't seem like it was, like we need to have that extra step. Except for maybe for me, because I can't approve my own FMLA. So, first I'm asking for, well, I did put them together.
Yeah.
So both things, I need to follow the policy as it's written today and request the leave be approved for FMLA over 3 weeks, which it will be, and then to also revise it per the language that Sue drafted that you should have in your packet.
Okay. So then, discussion? Okay, I'm gonna read the recommendation. To approve the FMLA leave of absence required, to approve amendment of section 11.1 general provisions of Article 11 leaves of absence, allowing department heads to approve leaves of absence to 1 week, the city administrator approving leaves up to 3 weeks, and the FMLA leaves up to 12 weeks. and requiring city council approval for all non-FMLA leaves over 3 weeks in duration. All right, I am looking for a motion or discussion yet on it. We have to, nothing? Ask any questions yet?
I would make a motion to
Dan?
approve that.
I'll second it.
Second, Dave. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The solar garden, I was hoping they'd have the agreements today. You, at the August meeting, when we had two presentations, you kind of sent it back to me to kind of review the two, and there's really no difference between them. It was almost a coin flip, but there were two reasons why I'm requesting that if you want to have a subscription, that we do the solar garden with SunShare, is because one, they're in the community, they have the garden right here being built. And two, with Geronimo, every single meter we had to have an agreement. So it was gonna be about 13 to 16 agreements. Whereas with SunShare, whatever capacity is in any garden, all of them will be on one agreement it's per garden, it's not per our meter. With our size, we are gonna be in 2, maybe 3. They were hoping to have them to me yesterday. They're still working on them, because they're rearranging all the other subscribers to give us gardens that are nearby. And Sue went through their agreement and made some suggestions, and every suggestion or request that we had, they approved. And so, if you want to subscribe to a solar garden, then I recommend you subscribe with SunShare. And it's still that 1 cent different from the bill credit, so. If our bill credit's $100, we pay them $99. We get per watt.
Everybody's still thinking?
And if you want to table it till you see the agreements, we can put it on the October 25th one too.
Do you really need this recommendation tonight?
No,
You don't?
We don't.
I would rather wait till we have the
Yeah, let's
and
contract.
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
They
let's
said
do
not a
that.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll table it till, I'll bring it back on the 25th, and I should have them this week.
I think we should do that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be
so, too.
better.
Okay.
Yep.
Next, library, if you recall, we had, Sue had to get you to waive the conflict of interest to read the library agreement, and after she reviewed it, she had several concerns. I was at a meeting with some other city administrators, and some other cities within the library, community also have concerns. And so I called the executive director of the library and told her what I agreed with most of Sue's assessment. And she said was taking it to the board that night. It was actually the night of the library trustees meeting. And at that, she was instructed to gather a meeting with all the cities that have issues to meet and talk about it. Because the board at the time, when they drafted it, thought they want one agreement and that's it. And they're not really, I wanna be diplomatic. Some of them are concerned that some cities won't sign it, and then what's gonna happen with those cities. And so we're meeting on October 20th, at 9:30, I believe, at the service center in Waite Park, the county service building. I know that Sue is going with Buffalo. But I'm hoping that you're okay with me going to sit in on that meeting. And if any of you wanna come with, you are welcome to come, but that's where we're at with the library agreement, so.
What's the date on that?
October 20th,
20th?
and I believe it's 9:30, but I'll verify that time.
Okay.
It's a Thursday, it's either 9:30 or 10:30.
So, do we have to give
No, I'm just
Bridget
giving you-
permission to go or not, or we don't have to?
No.
Okay.
But if you want to, I'll send out the invite that I get for anyone who's interested in maybe coming along.
Yeah, I guess, well, you gotta email everybody, no matter what, so
Yep.
throw it in the email, sure.
Yep. So that's that, and then I was approached by the co-op about potentially buying their unnecessary lot, but I have to figure out how many total they're required under the city to have.
Yeah, that was the question I had about.
And and if they have to pay into the parking lot, if they don't, parking fund, if they don't have enough. But is that something you want me to pursue with them and keep
Yes.
talking with them
Yes,
about?
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay, I will be
Anyway,
more
for
formal than
my,
that.
for mine to go ahead
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
and see
seeing that.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
And part of that was with talking about that Main Street improvement. Part of that little front piece of the lot would assist us with some of that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. No, pursue that. I think.
okay, I do have a couple others.
Okay.
There is a October 18th, a bike-friendly communities workshop. I don't know if anyone wants to go. I will send this to you so you can take a look at it. From 11 to 1 at the Stearns County History Museum for all the different Stearns, Benton's, Sherburne, and Wright County. So if you're interested in, I'll just forward it out to you and you can all decide if you want to go.
Okay?
For the two of you who are on planning, you've seen this page that we've used for the Central Minnesota Builders Association lists residential housing permits. We can submit ours if we want, so I just wanted to let you know, if you want me to start submitting so that we're in the magazine itself. Rockville is in it already. They're
I would like to have us.
So I'm gonna have staff probably compile it and get it ready for their format. We probably won't be able to submit until starting in November. But that's my goal, is to get Cold Spring on.
Yeah,
this as well.
absolutely.
Okay.
Get us more exposure.
Yeah.
I think so.
And there is a grant that is available, the Transportation Alternatives. It's kind of the safe route to school, but a little different. Not just the safe route to school. And I got an email from the school district asking if we wanted to discuss potentially combining efforts in applying for this grant. So I think the meeting is on the next Thursday. John and I and Scott Staska and Ken Kramer are gonna meet to talk about potentially applying for it if you're okay with that. And then with that, that's it.
Then, what is it, the 18th is the Stearns County Municipal League meeting also?
Yes, the Stearns County Municipal League meeting. I know that I forwarded that to you, and is anyone interested in going?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you're,
I'm going, yeah.
and
I probably won't be able to.
I don't think
That's
Jamie's
at
back yet.
Richmond, Peter and Paul, I think. we saw
Yep.
that.
Yep. Okay, so I will register the three of us
All right.
to go.
Anything else, Bridget?
Not that I can think of.
We're done with that, okay. And everybody looked over the list of bills. And usually, Fran says, let's pay our bills. Looking for a motion.
I'll make,
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Let's pay our bills. Okay, general questions and comments from the city council. Dave, that you wanted to start?
Got
or-
nothing.
Nothing? Not even about, is that
Well,
still,
that's,
is that
I
farmer's
think
market
there's
still
two more,
going
I think
in,
there's
or
2
what?
more weeks left. There's 2 more weeks of the farmer's market left, so
Oh, there's something in.
it's gonna be cool tomorrow, but the diehards will be there yet.
Jan? Nothing?
Nothing.
Fran? Nothing? Okay, then we'll go on to number 12. I'm looking for a motion for an adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Dave?
I will second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, good night, everybody.
Another one.